सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ईशावास्यमिदगं सर्वं यत्किञ्च जगत्यां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जीथाः मा गृधः कस्य स्विद्धनम् कुर्वन्नेवेह कर्माणि जिजीविषेत् शतगं समाः। एवं त्वयि नान्यथेतोऽस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे। पेज 97। असुर्या नामते लोकाः अंधेन तमसावृताः तांस्ते प्रेत्याभिगच्छन्ति एके चात्महनो जनाः। The first mantra looked into the direct message as should be any Upanishad. Upanishad is known for its very few words used to imply, indicate, direct the directness of the message. It does not focus on giving a lot of explanation. The expectation is that the student who comes is such an individual who has a preparedness for it, that is just waiting for the pointer to be suggested. Meaning, the sadhaka has parikshalokan karmachitan nasti akritaha kritena So the sadhaka has gone through a very rigorous, meticulous, conscious lifestyle of living a life of karma filled with the direction of karma yoga siddhanta. It is not an effort flimsily done sometimes in a life, sometimes in a week, one day a week, to be a sadhaka, to be a karma yoga siddhanta practitioner. Ours is not a Sunday to Sunday or a Friday to Friday or a Saturday to Saturday kind of a practice. What happens if it is the weekend sadhana? As the word suggests, it is weakened, not strengthened. When the knees and elbows start hurting after a certain age, because of various reasons, you get one shot for 6 months or 1 year. Sadhana is not like that. Sadhana is more like eating a meal, a sumptuous meal, a comprehensive meal where it has enough of protein, enough of fiber, enough of mineral, vitamin, and a little bit of carbs also is okay. Not the other way around. It is not mountains of rice and oceans of sambar in it. It has to be comprehensive. And more importantly, it has to be consistently done on a daily basis, multiple times. So the entire field of my interaction has to be done with that conscious effort that everything that goes out through me into the world as an action has to be performed with a conscious, deliberate viewpoint that I am performing it according to the Karma Yoga Siddhanta. Such prepared one, when they come, Chitta Shuddhi has occurred. Therefore, the directness of the message immediately fills the heart, the vision is understood, because the mind is silent to receive it. The equipment is ready to imbibe, experience. Therefore, the very first mantra itself, Ishavasya Idagam Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat Tyena Tyaktena Bhunjitaha Magradhaha Kasya Sviddhanam. Such prepared one doesn't have to worry about the securities and insecurities which the field of Putreshana, Lokeshana, Vitteshana provides. He's come with that vairagya where he or she says, been there, done that, seen it, I am not interested in that. I have already seen it. I don't need to be engaged in that insecurities anymore. Aata hai, jata hai, that is how it is. That which is going away, I don't need to cling on to it. That which is coming, I don't need to be scared of it, that, Are Bapre, ye kya aa gaya? He has seen. That maturity has been achieved. There is that Viveka born Vairagya. Vairagya cannot be enacted, as we discussed the other day. And I made a statement that day. The American wisdom, where they say, fake it till you make it. Vairagya, that doesn't get applied. You have to have the strong foundation of Viveka, and that Viveka has to lead to that Vairagya. It is a meticulous flower grown, blossomed by the constant nurturing of Viveka. So then when the message is given that everything that which you see, which you interact with, though it is definitely a name and a form, but the substratum, that which is permeating through that name and form, is essentially that divine alone. The core of every being is that divine alone. There is nothing that we gain out of judgmental attitude about every situation, every experience, every individual that I come across. Yes, you have had the past experience, so you have a certain experience, but you don't allow that to corrupt your present experience. That is when that individual, matured enough, can see past all that to see that divine glowing. But our effort in being connected with that divine is only when that which I am seeing is not interactive. A beautiful sunrise, there is no interaction from that side. So therefore I am in a non-threatened environment. Therefore I can see it. Wow! You reach to that spot that, as the sun is setting or the sun is rising, the mind calms down. It is connecting to something sublime. Or the child, just born, few months old. Even if that child is kicking with their feet, you don't take it to your heart. How dare? Nannu tantava. There is nothing there reacting. So we do see, appreciate and connect to the divine when that side is not threatening my existence as though. But the maturity is, even if it appears as though it might be threatening my insecurities, further enhancing them, to go past it and see that divine. It takes a very deep, matured mind to reach there. Ishavasya sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat. And the only way to reach there, tena tyaktena eva. All these apparently visible aberrations that which mind gets clogged with, you can weave your way past them. Not get distracted by them. You are easily ready to let go of those. Tyaktena. Why? Because I have the firm, thorough knowledge, experience, that these are merely appearing as though it can create insecurities in me, but they do not have the capacity to create that. Therefore, there is no point in hankering over it, holding on to it. Therefore, let go. Tyaktena. And even if you have not seen the divine, if you have reached to this understanding, mind becomes such unclogged that you feel that there is an absence of unnecessary pressure that which we build upon ourselves. In colloquial Hindi they say there is something called sukoon. The heart is at ease. Though the mind is savdhan, but the heart is at ease. When the march past is done, there are only two instructions. Savdhan! And until they say at ease, you cannot relax. But spirituality is, the mind has to be alert, vigilant, savdhan. But the heart is at ease. There is no complications there. Complication is not because of that which I am seeing. It is because of the insecurities built in. What ifs? There are several what ifs that we are holding on to. But if that vairagya is not there, how much ever years that we have spent, whether it is doing different kinds of seva, different kinds of puja, different kinds of, I am not belittling them or taking away the value point that they hold. Just because it is done, vairagya is not ensured. You may be doing regular puja, the entire Rudrabhishekam, entire Shodashopachara puja, japa. But what should be the checkpoint? That what gives me clarity that I am progressing? What is the immediateness in which my vairagya can function? Vairagya doesn't mean that you don't observe, you don't cherish. You do see the beauty, you do see the joy in it. But you also know, I don't need to hold on to it. Vairagya is not those teen bandar. I am vairagi, therefore I'll close my eyes, I'll close my ears, I'll close my mouth, I'll close every organ. In that state we call it as sleep, where every organ is non-functional. Organs of perception and action, I mean. The involuntary organs keep functioning, thank goodness. Vairagya is that state where anything, being or experience, its presence or absence doesn't create a sense of disturbance. Detached engagement. I see, I observe, there is joy, I enjoy, but I am not clinging on to it. Now, supposing this vairagya is not there. Here, one has to be 100% honest with one's own self. This is the key. But Vyavahara, there is so many layers that can be discussed. All sadhakas sitting here, so I'll focus only on sadhana. Even in the field of sadhana, sadhana is applied as a sense of gratification and a security for that very ego that has to be eliminated. Like we hear the classic example of interaction with Puja Gurudev. Somebody said, Swamiji, I have studied Bhagavad Gita several times in double digits. And Gurudev looked at him while walking and turned his face and said, has the Gita gone through you at least once? We are putting the effort, but it becomes a namesake. I have finished the entire study group syllabus. Tatakim. I have to write probably the new Tatakim series. Customize it to today's generation. Every day doing what it requires as a schedule. At least that is appreciated. That much of discipline at least has come. But if the vairagya is not sufficient enough, in Mundaka Upanishad, this whole concept is indicatively given, suggested. The students that come to the teacher, they come with dry twigs. Maybe because in that Gurukula there is Havan, there is Homakunda, therefore dry twigs, bhaiya, hamara bhi contribution. But it's more than that. Just like these dry twigs do not have any moisture content, no sapidity in it, it is dry. There is no more looking out for rasa outside. Samsaraha, Nissaraha is understood. That is no more going to be a distraction. When we go to an ashram, when we go to a hill station, when we go to a tirtha kshetra, why do we feel elevated? Because that which I am searching for, the sara in the samsara, that is not the outlook. But it's temporary. How do we reach to that? The only method is that which we are already performing, already engaged in. It is called our field of action. Take it sincerely. It is not trivial. Kurvan neveha karmani. But for that I have to be honest with myself. That spirituality, that which I am engaging in, दिखावे के लिए है कि असल में कुछ करना चाहते हैं. Is it something that has become a part of a schedule, or is it much more sincere than that? Otherwise, yathasthanam pratisthapayami. In Telugu they say, ekkada vesina gonggali akkade untundi. Newton's law. It says it stays in the state of motion or inertia unless there is a external force applied. That external force is called vairagya. Therefore, performing the karma, don't take it lightly that there is a busy day, a burdensome day, I have to somehow get through it. No, you have to consciously get through it. With every single minute detail accounted for. We have discussed this yesterday in quite a large extent. What happens if we are not honest with ourselves? What if I assume as though, because it is Shastra's job to say there are always exceptions. I would want to be that exception. There is one Vivekananda, one Chinmayananda, one Ramana Maharshi for hundreds of years. Do you know how much time Gurudev spent with Tapon Maharaj? 1.5 years. Max maybe 2 years. If you take all the up and down he did before he started his pravachan. Bas, I will also wait for that moment. That 1.5 year in my life where if it could happen to him, there are exceptions, sir, Baba. Those exceptions only prove what we have to be more sincere about and honest about. Even if I have dabbled with the first mantra without being prepared with the second mantra, the first thought that came was dhobi ka kutta, na ghar ka na ghat ka. And then I thought it was too harsh. I said, Trishanku Swarga. Neither you are in there nor in this. Therefore, when somebody asks, how are you? We often say, hanging in there. ना इधर का उधर का लटक रहे हैं. One has to be very, very sincere and honest with oneself. Am I somewhere where the mind is at will in my control? At will I can bring it to a single point of focus. If not, Delhi बहुत दूर है. I may sit, close my eyes and continue that which was happening horizontally, vertically. Swami ji, I feel heaviness after meditation. उसे नींद कहते रे बाबा. No, I think I am reaching to a state. It is called deep sleep state. Without honesty, sadhana cannot proceed. I have to be brutally honest with myself to evaluate where exactly am I. Simple steps. At physical level, how am I handling my cravings? At the emotional level, as soon as a thought theme starts, how quickly am I recognizing it? How efficiently am I detaching and observing it? With the ideas, how quickly I can shift from tamasic to rajasic to sattvic. So that when I am rajasic, it is guided by that sattvic intention. The effort is rajasic, but it has to be guided by the sattvic intentions. And when cravings and temptations occur, however trivial or however mammoth size they may be, from as simple as a coffee or a chip packet to different kinds of karma that we can get distracted with, how quickly can I identify and nip it at bud? Otherwise we get caught. Shabdajalam maharanyam chitta brahmana karanam. Viveka Chudamani Adi Shankaracharya ji says, we get entangled with the Shabdajala. We learn the vocabulary. Instead of using the run of the mill, we start using the Sanskrit Vedantic words. That honesty, if it is not there, what happens to them? Asurya namate lokaha andhena tamasa vrataha tanste pratyabhigachanti eke chatmahano janaha. A very direct, harsh statement said. Such dishonest people, what are they doing? Ye ke atmahanaha te janaha. They are committing suicide. Atmahanaha. What a... It's a very, very harsh statement. But at least then we may wake up to the reality. AK, we are using AK-40 on ourselves. Killing our own opportunity even after having gotten this human life. Durlabham trayamevaitat. Manusyatvam, mumukshutvam, mahapurusha samshrayah. Very, very rare when all these three can align. And yet, even that opportunity is used to show off that is a feather in my cap, rather than I defeather everything and get beyond it. Asurya namate lokaha. Asura, one meaning. Asura has one meaning. Asura means that who is not Sura, Daivi qualities. But my mind, in its own jovial way says, जिनके जिंदगी में न सुर है न ताल है, असुर है. There is no music in their life. There is only noise. Asurya namate lokaha. Demonic in expression. Their existence is demonic. Such dishonest people. The second meaning is darkness is enveloped. There is no Surya. Sunless. Asurya namate lokaha. Their very loka, the loka that they are in is dark, sunless. Andhena tamasavrutaha. There is no sun, blinded, and tamasa avrutaha, enveloped with darkness of ignorance. And they play out as though they are the most accomplished. Whatever the outside field of accomplishments, it means nothing in this field. But our mind is trapped in it. Let that sink in. Our own dishonesty is leading to this. It is not the nakshatra bala or some Ishvara sitting down to whack us with all kinds of miserable experiences. At least in our Shastra, Bhagavan Ishvara is not described as somebody who is sitting with a hammer in his hand. किसको पिक करूं आज? हाँ. And keep, that is स्वयं कृतापराध. I mean, we have taken some Abrahamic lingo into our way of living. We are God-fearing. We are not God-fearing. We are not supposed to fear God. If at all you have to fear of something, it has to be my own attitude and karma that I am performing, because it will come back to bite you. It will not spare. That is the law of nature. You do consciously or unconsciously, that is a choice. But both will come to bite you. Because it has become like a very norm. There will be repercussions even for that. You cannot escape that. Therefore, the only method is don't cry foul. Grow up. Grow a spine. Be responsible. Otherwise, this is the kind of loka that we reach. When the society is made up of individuals, you and me. When the entire society, the majority starts behaving thus, it is not just the individual, but the entire society goes into a rotten state. Loka anta ila ayipoyindi. We are the contributors to that loka. And then we'll have some sophisticated question. We think they are sophisticated. Why has God created such kind of a miserable world? My brutal answer to them, do you have a mirror in the house? Stand in front of it, there lies the answer. I am the contributor for it. Asurya namate lokaha andhena tamasavrataha. Not just here. Pretya abhigachanti tam lokaha eva. Even after having left this body, we go to such dark places only. Yad bhavam tad bhavati. Right? As you think, so you become. See, those who are tuned to satsanga, those who are tuned to, bhajan, puja, even when they go out there, their life is like a travel job. They will look into the newspapers, they will look into the advertising platforms, try to find out. If there will be some advertisement of satsang, they will take time to accommodate that. They will not say, my life is busy. So wherever you go, you try to tune to that environment. You don't claim and blame. There was no opportunity. It is all filled with that kind of see. There is a Chinmaya Mission Center in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is also known as Sin City. All kinds of vices that you can think of and more, you can find it there. I had gone there for some pravachan. It is not on that strip. It was the place where people live. So they said, Swamiji, you have come this far, you have to see the chamak damak of this place at least once. I said, I am not interested, Baba. No, you have to. So they took me. They parked on one side. They said, now this whole strip we'll have to walk. All the casinos, all the big hotels and their glamour. It is really chamak damak. As we were walking, I caught something of a peculiar architecture. I think it is a Bellagio or the Caesar's Palace. One of them. I don't quite distinctly remember it right now. There was a different kind of architecture, unusually different from what that chamak damak was. So I said, can we go see it? And it happened to be an open kind of there is a arch and things like that, a roof. It was Brahmaji's temple. And they're like, we have walked through this strip so many times, we have never noticed this. Everybody that comes, we are going outside, we go inside. I said, you go through inside everyone, they are all connected. But we have never seen this. Yatha drishti, tatha srishti. If that drishti is not changed, wherever my impressions, tendencies that I have encouraged and developed, that is where I tend to lean on to. Therefore, in this world, And in the other world, we are pulled into darkness based on my own tendencies. Asurya namate lokaha andhena tamasavృతాః. Such a beautiful opportunity that has been provided on a golden platter, that we are not just born in the Manushya Janma. Most of us have a healthy system. If any limb, anything that can go wrong, if it goes wrong, you will not be available for sadhana. For most of us sitting here, there is that blessings, that our health, our body is in a good condition. The limbs function. I'll write some support system here and there. One BP tablet here or there, one sugar tablet here or there, one, if not anything, at least Colderin. अभी तो Colderin नहीं है क्या, वो डोलो मुंह खोलो, डोलो डालो, done. Some support system, a little bit, but the body is functional. Mind is sharp. Intellect is actually craving for the right dosage and the right direction. It is functioning in that direction because that is what we have fed. Change the feeding system to that, and you will see that it is actually guiding in a very comprehensive, beautiful direction. If the input that is going is junk, and you expect the intellect, the buddhi, to give amazing clarity, as you sow, so you reap. And then say, why is my life filled with such See, when you go to these cuisines which you have never tasted, you don't have an experience. The names also you cannot pronounce properly. You go to a Thai restaurant. There's a padki mo. Kiski mo? पता भी नहीं है क्या है वो. And then suddenly you are shocked when ये क्या लाया? तूने जो ऑर्डर किया वही तो लाया. You get what you are invested in. You cannot then later blame. You have to investigate. Many of the chicks used to refuse to come with me because I would ask like at least about 30 to 40 questions. And these Yuva Kendra kids, right, impatient, they're like, he started again. Yeah, I don't want to end up in a situation where, I order something and it is something which I don't even want to see it on my table. Similarly in life, you get exactly what you have designed. Strange is, nobody wants something which is dark, painful, miserable. We seem to be effortlessly guided towards it. Effortlessly. Bad habits. We are effortlessly guided to it. Good habits, even if it is being insisted upon with clarity, with logic, with correct examples, still, I am waiting for that inspired moment. When? Why is my intellect not inspired for that? Because the rest of the feed is more overwhelming than this little feed that you have given. Because we are not being honest to ourselves. Can a person who is not honest to himself be honest with anybody else in the world? And what do we claim? I am the most honest person. खुद से तो start कर. दुनिया बाद में देखेंगे. Start with yourself first. The entire creation, every kind of species seeks for that which gives it happiness. In childhood, you might have done this experiment through the school, wherein you put a tree, sapling, in a cardboard box with one hole in it. Have you done this experiment? What does the tree, its growth? It turns towards that where there is sunlight. Why? That is what gives it the rasa. On a cold day when the dog is sleeping outside, it will shift multiple places looking for the warmth that it. पौधे को दिमाग है, कुत्ते को दिमाग है, to align itself with. Is not our effort in this world to seek that happiness, provided if it can be long lasting as well? Then why do we take shortcuts thinking that it may lead to it, but we get trapped in it and not see even an ounce of that joy, ounce of that happiness? Our own life and experience is a proof of it. Haven't we tried all of it? And yet we succumb because it has become such a hard pattern to break. And to change that, it requires immense amount of patience with oneself. When we cannot pay that patient account to ourselves and take always shortcuts, and if the entire society is filled with those that are looking for only shortcuts, you see it in the eyes. The impatience, the pain, the misery that we carry. Somewhere I read it very beautifully. It says, the body smiles through the lips, but the soul smiles through the eyes. We very plastically, fakely put on a smile, but the eyes are carrying the burden. See, when you see people like Gurudev or Ramana Maharshi, what is the most attractive feature of them? It is the eyes. क्या clear, एकदम स्पष्ट, piercing look, fearless look, compassionate look. Fearless doesn't mean Raudra. Fearless with compassion. You look at the rest of the world. First of all, there is no stability in that look. Have you seen a monkey ever sit on a tree without agitated presence. हमारा भी वही हाल हो गया है. See, when our own child does something wrong and you are trying to talk to them, knowing that you have caught them, may not be red-handed, but you know that they have done something wrong. What is it one thing that you want them to do while you are speaking to them? There is a common dialogue in every family. Look at me when I am speaking to you. Why are you expecting that? Because eyes reveal everything. Why are we carrying that amount of pain? It is not because world has done something wrong to us. It may be a triggering factor. It is only because we are not being honest with ourselves. That which is sown as darkness in darkness, expecting it to yield something productive, bright and brilliant, will nothing be other than gloominess only. See, at least that which we are experimenting in seeking this happiness, if it is done sincerely and consciously, we will see its lack, we will see its lacuna in it. By our own experience, we can draw the conclusion that दिखता है पर इसमें मजा नहीं है. By the time we realize all of it, one leg is already in the grave. Isn't that the first shloka of Bhaja Govindam? Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudhamate, Samprapte, leg in the grave, Sannihite Kahle, Nahi Nahi Rakshati. All these different kinds of tamasic and unconscious lifestyle, none of them is going to come to protect you. It is only going to drag you to that further darkness. Let us be honest. Honest with what? Is my mind and buddhi ready for the higher self? Yes, we want to reach there, but am I ready for it? If not, honestly, where should our effort be? Don't avoid karma. Don't try to run away from your own responsibilities. Embrace it. Accept it. Meticulously execute your responsibilities in the field of action as they unfold without any sense of resistance, without any friction. With an attitude of dedication to the highest altar and selflessly done. But ours is we resist. Our prarabdha is much more forceful than. See, here I am not trying to be fatalistic, where I say that is your fate. Now, no, we have two aspects. Fate is the unfolding of the experience. How you deal with it, Purushartha is in your hands. Be honest there. Good, bad, ugly, indifferent, whatever be the experience, the spirit should be, चलो आज धमाल करते हैं. Again I have to say supposing my responsibility, right? I have to come, speak, and I come with a de-spirited attitude. Abba malli matladala ade mokhalu. Okarokaru, each one is studying Vedanta for 30, 40, 50 years. Same faces. They have heard the Upanishads, they have heard Prakarana Granthas, they have heard Bhagavad Gita, they go to camps, they do. I have to speak to them. यार पढ़ लेता हूँ, सुन लो. If I am not engaging, if I am not trying to put the effort to understand each one and try to give that which gives, I am also reading each I hear. Why do I seem to repeat the thought? Because at least one or more than few are like, kya bola? If that is the kind of look, then I know I have to repeat it again. Right? ये बोल के क्या फायदा है? You get it, you get it, you don't get it, you don't get it. Let's move on. If that is the attitude, do you think the next day anybody will be here? At least in one part there has to be sincerity, and the sincerity should be in the effort. Ma karma phala heturbhu. Don't expect the result. But do the job, do it in such sincerity, with such inspiration, however small, however tedious, however ugly be the situation. How many times have you gone cleaned your child's room? Every mother is having a smile here. You first get irritated. There is that. And then, after that first layer of scream and everything is done, you first start with a space where you can clean, sit and start working with one layer at a time. Isn't it? Similarly with our antakarana, create a space, at least where you can have a footing, and from there on start cleaning one layer meticulously. If that conscious, honest effort is not there, it is not going to clean just because you have done japa, just because you have done puja, just because you have attended satsanga, just because you have done some tirtha yatra. Yes, it should give some kind of mental strength, but where is that mental strength channelized to is very important. Am I being honest in channelizing it to the right direction? Unless I sit down to peel it, yes, it is going to be hurting. Just like when you see the child's room, everything dirty. When you see the antakarana, everywhere dirt. It feels quite depressing. But then you have to accept it sooner than later. Otherwise we close a blind eye and that blindness will continue. Andhe naiva niyamana yathandaha. And such start leading others. Why? At least we have enhanced our vocabulary. Therefore, take the field of the karma with the karma yoga attitude very, very honestly. Doesn't matter what intersection of life we are at. That is where we are. Just like, what is that? Swachha Bharat Abhiyan. Swachha Antakarana Abhiyan. Sincerely it has to begin. Nobody from the outside is going to come and help us clean ourselves. The Shastras and Gurus can only point at it. So therefore, I wouldn't say take life seriously. Seriousness again comes with a burden. Take it sincerely, honestly. And you have to be blunt about it. Therefore, Gurudev used to say, as a crux of this mantra, when you deal with others, deal with heart. When you deal with yourself, deal with your head. Consciously, honestly. Otherwise, this beautiful opportunity provided will be lost. Based on these different unnecessary patterns that we are creating, after this opportunity is gone, there will be no guarantee that we will have the same kind of human life again. Ishvara will say that fellow has this kind of patterns, dark patterns, these are lazy patterns, slothful life. They provide that kind of a body to execute that vasana. In Olympics and various other games, though the individual may not be qualified to be in the, they are given, it is called a wild card. I feel, at least for myself, that this opportunity that has unfolded is purely a wild card. I may not have been even qualified enough to get all these three in this life so abundantly. Manushyatvam, Mumukshatvam, Mahapurusha Samshrayah. Whatever is the vyavahara outside, while dealing with it, the focus always should be, how am I cleaning myself continuously through this act of karma yoga? And the funny thing, just because you have done one or two things meticulously and with a sincerity, selflessly, we start branding ourselves. But a karma yogi hai. A karma yoga is not a weekend effort. It is a meticulously defined lifestyle where every single effort is done with that attitude. With every interaction. Otherwise, we are binding ourselves to this andhatva, tamasatva and asuryatva. We'll continue tomorrow. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.